Lazy exercise. Stretching isometric holds. So this is a lazy exercise type concept. For those who might not like lifting weights for whatever reason, they don't want to lift weights, or for maybe they have injuries which make it hard for them to lift weights, or they themselves are too big or too heavy. Like something is making it hard for them to lift weights more so than they just don't want to lift it because they're lazy, right? Like, oh, I hate lifting weights; it hurts, or some shit like that, right? For whatever reason, I'm just saying, whatever reason you have for not lifting heavy weights, whether you don't have access to heavy weights, or you just don't want to, or there's a reasonable reason why you can't, then stretching isometric training would be ideal for you, or would be what I would recommend, because the goal of lifting, right, the goal of weight training, or just any type of exercise, when it comes to building muscles, is to damage the muscles, right, to cause micro tears in the muscles, right, to rip the uh, muscle fibers, so that way when they heal from protein, right, from eating protein and resting, allowing your body time to use the protein to rebuild the muscle and make it bigger and stronger. Since the goal is to cause damage, it's like, well, we use weights for that. That's one of the easiest way. And the heavier the weights, the more, the faster the muscle tear is going to be, right? So that's why I talk about one set to failure and stuff like that. Like, you don't need to do 2, 3, 4, 5 sets. That's overkill. That's you're tearing your muscles way too much. And the thing is, you're going to still need your muscles to do stuff, especially if you have a job. That's the thing. 90% of people, got jobs, and they want to work out, and I'm all for it. But the thing you have to understand is, like, if your job is physically tasking, as in like your job requires you to physically do stuff, it's not a good idea to go to the gym, do like 5 sets of bench press and bicep curls and leg press and all that stuff, right? Do a full body workout and then go to work with your body all damaged and sore. It's going to take more than 48 hours for your body to fully heal. It'll take about 72 hours to really get good healing, or at least enough healing that you can function, especially if you did too many sets. And I don't recommend more than 2 at max. 1 set to failure is enough, but if you want to do 2 sets, then so be it. But even doing 2 sets is a little bit too much, and you need more rest time. And again, like I said, if you're working, if you're the type of person who's physically doing stuff, even if you're a house mom, like, oh, I went to the gym, did my workout, came home, started cooking and cleaning, and started, taking care of the kids and spending time with the kids. Yeah, those are physical activities. That's straining your muscles. That's straining your body. So that's not a good idea to do those things. Well, to do too much at the gym, and then you have all those physical activities to do. Then you're just overtraining, and that's a lot of overtraining, and that causes way many problems. I'm not gonna go into all that right now about the issues with overtraining. You could just look it up yourself. The point that I'm trying to tell you is to do less. Less is more. The less you train, the better, because every day is. I'm gonna make a video about it. Every day is leg day. Every day, you're doing some type of exercise. Every day you're doing some type of physical activity. Unless you're in bed all the time or sitting on your ass all the time, then you're not. But on average, most people are physically active, so that you're always exercising. So then, exercising on top of that is going to be excessive overtraining, and the idea is to do less. Since if you're a lazy person, you sit on your ass all the time. Yeah, you could spend more time in the gym and do more in the gym. But if you're less lazy and you are physically active, you have a job that requires you to be physically active, then you need to exercise less. And of course, eat more protein, for not just for your workout, but also for your job. That's something I notice a lot of people don't talk about. And I want to put that out there. You need more protein just because you have a job, than protein for the fact that you went to the gym. All right, so there's that. So back to the stretch isometric. What is that about? Well, the idea is to stretch your muscles out, right? So look up a whole bunch of stretches: forearm stretch, bicep stretch, tricep stretch, quad stretch and ab stretch. All the different types of stretches for all the different muscle groups. So then, what you want to do with those stretching after you're not going to do a full body stretch unless you're going to do a full body workout. But if you're just going to do work on your biceps, I recommend stretch out, do a forearm stretch, then the bicep stretch, because when you do the bicep hold, that's going to require some forearm strength, which means you're going to be doing isometric for your forearms and your bicep, not just your bicep. Your forearms is anytime you're holding weight like dumbbells or even barbells. Anytime you're holding weights with your arms, right, your hands obviously, and you're holding it, you're doing isometric hold for your forearms. So inherently by default, your forearms will be working out. Will be doing isometric holds. Even like your calves, when you're like carrying weight and you're walking with weight, right? Especially if you're a heavy guy like myself, your calves are always doing isometric. But anyway, so do a forearm stretch, do the bicep stretch, then do the bicep hold. Where you take the dumbbell, lift it up halfway, so that way it's parallel to the ground, right? So it should be sticking out in front of you, you know, in front of your abdomen, and you just hold it for 10 seconds. So when you do the stretch, you want to do it for 10 to 15 seconds. When you do the stretches, when you do the holds, you want to do them for 10 to 15 seconds, right? Count as the word, like 1, 2, 3, count, and then just one set, right? Just one set to failure, as they say. So, and do that more times. And the heavier the weight, the better, because then you get more. But if you don't have really really heavy weights, let's say you only have 10-pound weights or 20-pound weights, then you might want to hold it longer. The goal is to just hold it long enough that you feel a good amount of burn. So you want to hold it long enough for that, because again, you're trying to cause micro tears in the muscle. So just holding the weight for a long period of time will create roughly the same amount of damage as if you were actually moving the weight around. And like I said earlier, the whole idea of like holding the weight halfway, pressed, halfway curled, halfway lifted. So just lifting weight halfway and holding it, that will create, weight tears, because when you're resisting against gravity, because gravity's trying to make that weight go back down, but you're holding it up against gravity, so there's resistance. So you're getting resistance even if you're not moving the weight, and then, like I said, it's going to create tears. And you already did the stretch. The stretching is pretty much like pre-exhausting or trying to pre-tear the muscle before you do the hold, and the hold is supposed to make the tears even more tear, right? Tear it more, and it should give you a similar result as if you were actually lifting weights. And then, like I said, one set to failure, and then do that for every body part you want to do. And by doing stuff like that, like just holding the weight halfway, this will reduce any other muscle groups being involved in the exercise. Like shoulders, for example. So if you lift a lot of weights with your forearm and biceps, right? So those are the two main muscles that's going to help you lift something in front of you. Your shoulders are going to be less involved. Your back is going to be less involved, especially because some people, when they do barbell curls, I know they tend to throw themselves back and they tend to lean back. So there's a lot of back bending when they're trying to lift the weight up. But if you lift it halfway and just hold it, you're not bending yourself back to try to hold the weight up, right? So less back action, less shoulder action, and that's the idea. Especially if you have I notice I hear people talk about they have shoulder issues, back issues, knee issues. There are other issues, but these are the three most common, which is back problems, knee problems, and shoulder problems. These are the most common problems. So that's why I'm like, doing these types of isometric holds as opposed to actually moving the weight and just holding the weight is good against these types of injuries, shoulder injuries, back injuries, knee injuries, or any of these things being painful. Because some people are, oh, when I move, it hurts. Well, don't move. Just hold the weight, and you'll get similar results as if you was moving it. And that's all I wanted to point out.